Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Elle.K and today I am going to be taking you guys through my reading rush TBR. I literally can't even believe that we are in July, let alone that we are at the end of July and doing our reading rush. Like I don't understand where the time has gone. 2020 has just been a roller coaster of a series of unfortunate events, but the reading rush is here and that is awesome. I am super excited. So if you would like to see my reading rush TBR and hear about some of the books that I am planning on reading, keep on watching. Okay, so before I get started, I'm going to do the disclaimer that I do in every single one of my videos, and that is if you hear my Great Dane whining or crying upstairs, she's not hurt, dying, or anything above, she's absolutely fine, she's just dramatic, but here on this channel, we deal with it. Yes, that never gets old. Okay, so, little backstory. I suck at the reading rush. I am absolutely god-awful at doing the reading rush. Every single year, last year included, I always come up with like this fantastic TBR that I think I'm gonna get through, and I either don't get through any of it or I get through one book. And I am determined to not have that happen this year. So I am like coming with my game face, plan out, ready to go, like kick this reading rush in the butt. I'm gonna do it. I am going to finish the reading rush, or at least read more than one book. So for my TBR, sorry, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I will leave all the links down for the hosts of the reading rush and the girls that created the reading rush in the description box down below. The reading rush is essentially a week-long read-a-thon that the reading rush is essentially a week-long read-a-thon that is going to be taking place next week from July 20th to July 26th, and you create a TBR and read books that follow a list of prompts that the hosts have created. So that's what I'm going to be taking you guys through today. Yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. Like I said, if you have any other questions about it, I will leave all the information, the links to the hosts that have all the information in the description box down below. But yeah, so the prompts for this reading rush were super cool. There were 2 prompts on this list that gave me a migraine, but I worked it out. So I figured I'm going to go through the prompts counting down from 7 to 1 because there's 7 prompts, just because I wanted to do something different. I'm not going to say, oh, like, yeah, this is fun, I'm going to count backwards. Like, that's like, who actually cares what order I say these books in? But I'm going to do it 7 to 1. So yeah. So let's jump into the TBR. For the 7th prompt, that is to read a book that takes place in a different continent than your own. I live in Canada, so that's pretty easy, although I decided to go with Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Seanan McGuire. This is the second book in the Wayward Children series. I swear I can talk. Like, what is going on today? But yeah, it's the second book in that series. It follows two main characters. Yeah, they're main characters. What is she doing? I don't know what she's doing upstairs. It follows 2 characters from the first book. I'm not going to go too much into it because I don't want to give anything away, but this series is so much fun. It's a lot darker and more twisty than what I thought it was going to be. And honestly, for it being such a short book, it packs, well, I shouldn't say because I haven't read this one yet, but I know for the first book, it was pretty much the exact same length. It packed a lot of punch for being very short, and it was just insanely dark. So I'm very excited to read this one. I love Seanan McGuire's writing, so yeah, I'm so happy to have this on my TBR. I've been meaning to get to it for a while, and I figured it's nice and short, so why not stick it on my reading rush TBR, because that'll make it nice and easy to get through, and yeah, here we go. So the 6th prompt is to read a book from a genre that you are scared to read or that you don't read that often. If you've been on my channel for a while, then you know exactly what genre that is for me, and that would be fantasy. I have a love-hate, mostly hate relationship with fantasy. I love to purchase fantasy books. I don't always like to read fantasy books. I find them to be either incredibly long or have an incredibly difficult magic system to follow, or just something about it just makes me twitch. But I'm trying to get more into fantasy because I do have a lot of fantasy books. The covers are really pretty, so they make me buy them. Anyways, for this prompt, I'm going to be reading Circe by Madeline Miller. I have heard literally nothing but good things about this book. I don't think I've heard one negative review about Cersei, which gives me hope, but then also kind of shatters my dreams, because I tend to not like books that everybody else likes. Daisy Jones for being Exhibit A. I can't stand that book. Besides the point. But yeah, so Cersei follows the goddess Cersei, who is the daughter of Helios, which is the sun god, and I can't remember who her mom is. But when Cersei is born, she doesn't exhibit really any powers. She's definitely not as powerful. She doesn't appear to be as powerful as her father and not as alluring as her mother, so she doesn't really feel like she belongs with the gods. But then it comes out that she does indeed have a power, and that is the power of witchcraft, which scares the hell out of Zeus, and he banishes her from the world of the gods. So she then goes and finds solace and companionship with mortals. And then she's going to find herself in a situation where she's going to have to choose between going back to live her life with the gods or staying with the mortals. Or there's a battle somewhere in there that I'm missing. Yes, there's a battle that, and then she's gonna have to choose, I think. Something along those lines. It sounds really, really sweet. I like the idea of a coming of age story for a goddess. I think that's a really, really cool twist on it, and I love reading about Greek mythology, so I think that this will be a really fun segue into fantasy because it has a topic that I already like. So fingers crossed that I love this book. So the fifth prompt is to read a book completely not in your house, and for that I'm going to be reading Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levenseller. I am going to be doing the audiobook version of this, so that way I can listen to it like in the car, in the barn, literally anywhere but my house, which I think will make this prompt a little bit easier. So yeah, that's my plan for this one. It follows our main character. I believe her name is Alosa, and she is the daughter of a pirate, and she knowingly allows herself to be captured by an enemy pirate in hopes of retrieving a treasure map. But I believe along the way she falls in love with the captain or the first mate of the enemy pirate ship. So that just sounds like, sounds pretty interesting. I think, like, I like pirates. I actually love pirates. Pirates of the Caribbean is like one of my favorite movie series, so I mean, it's intriguing enough for me to give it a try. And I listened to a sample of the audiobook, and I can't remember who narrates it, but she sounded like she was going to do a really, really good job with it, so I'm excited for that if nothing else. The fourth prompt. This is one out of the two prompts that irritated my soul, and that is to read the first book that you touch. Well, let me tell you something. I don't have just one stagnant bookshelf. I have the bookshelf behind me. I have a floating bookshelf in my basement. I also have a bookshelf in my room, a mini bookshelf in my room. I've got also books on my coffee table upstairs. Like, I have books all around my house. So to read the first book that I touch, I had no idea how to go about that. So I kind of tweaked this a little bit, and I'm deciding to read the first book that came to my mind when I saw this prompt, and that for me was Ghost Boys by Jewel Parker Rhodes. I know that that's not how you were supposed to do this prompt, but like, there's just no way that I could figure out how to read the first book that I touch. Because if I used this bookshelf behind me, I was going to touch a book that I know I didn't want to read, and then if I used the floating bookshelf, the same thing was going to happen, and it was just madness. So I'm doing the first book that came to mind, and that is Ghost Boys. This follows a black 12-year-old boy who was shot by a police officer who mistook his toy gun as a real gun. But the twist on this is that the boy comes back as a ghost and gets to kind of see the chaos and peril that takes place after his death. I really like the spin that this book has, and I love that this is a middle grade book talking about police brutality. I think that is so important and so critical that middle grade readers get exposed to this at an early age. So I'm very excited to see how this book takes on this topic and the level of seriousness that is applied. So yeah, that is how I'm dealing with this prompt. If you don't like it and you don't agree with it, tough, like tough. The third and second prompt I'm actually going to lump together. The third prompt is to read a book, read a book inspired by a movie, read a book that inspired a movie you've already seen, or something along those lines, something similar to that wording. I'm not gonna lie, my knee-jerk reaction for this prompt was to read a Harry Potter book. I have seen every single Harry Potter movie. I have all the Harry Potter books and most of the illustrated editions of the Harry Potter books. So yeah, that was my knee-jerk response, and then what is she doing? See, that's what Robbie thinks about Harry Potter at the moment. that's funny. Yeah, so my knee-jerk reaction was to indeed read Harry Potter. J.K. Rowling did what she did, said what she said, and has yet to apologize for either or, and that's just, it's not gonna happen on this channel. So instead, I'm going to substitute that with the Hunger Games. Okay, again, this is kind of cheating, but like I said, the books that I wanted to use for this, I will not be using for this. Like, it's not going to happen, at least not on this channel. You can look elsewhere for it. But I'm using the Hunger Games because while I have read this book, I want to say maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and since then I've seen the movie, I kid you not, at least 30 times. I love the Hunger Games movies. So I figured I can read this book and have it count because I've watched the movies way more times than I've read the book. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm also using this for the second prompt, which is to read a book that starts with the word the, and as we can clearly see, the Hunger Games. That's what I'm gonna be doing for it. So there we go. And the last/first prompt, because I did do this list backwards, is to read a book with a cover that matches your birthstone. Let me tell you, this prompt is the one that gave me the most headache, heartache, and just migraine anxiety levels spiked through the roof. I am born on August 16th, 1996. That makes me a Leo, and my birthstone color is period, i.e. green. Now, finding a book that is not a fantasy, that is green, is like finding a ring in a haystack. And I can say that because recently my ring got lost in a haystack, and it was hell on earth to find. And then to top it off, finding a book that is green, that's short, and that I'm actually interested in reading and that I already own was damn near impossible, but I managed to do it. The book that I am going to be using for this prompt is The Devil and Miss Prim by Paulo Coelho. I can never pronounce his name correctly. But he is the author of one of my all-time favorite books, and that is The Alchemist. So I'm very, very excited to read this one. I'm actually not even 100% sure what this book is about. I picked this up, I think, either last year or the year before. It was literally hiding behind my desk. It's not entirely green, but there are green shades on it, and I figured one of them would match the shade of green that is my birthstone, and I'm gonna use it anyway, so everybody can just suck it up. I love Paulo's writing style. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I have high hopes for this book. And again, it meets my criteria of being short, so hopefully I can get through it relatively quickly for the reading rush. There we go. Okay guys, so that brings us to the end of my TBR for the reading rush. Again, the reading rush takes place next week from July 20th to July 26th. So if you haven't gotten your books together yet, make sure you get them together this weekend. And also remember, it doesn't matter what you read. I'm pretty sure the host went over this as well. You can listen to an audible book. You can listen to an audiobook. Audible has audiobooks, not sponsored. But yeah, you can listen to an audiobook. You can read a comic book. I think manga also counts. Yeah, just diversify your reading. Read as much as you can. Read whatever you want. Just participate and have fun. I'm so excited for it. I participate pretty much every year, even though I suck at it. It's still really, really fun to give it a try. So definitely, if you're thinking about it or on the fence, do it. Just jump in and do it. You'll have fun regardless. Before I go, I wanted to ask you guys what you think about me doing a live read-along at some point during the read-a-thon. That kind of rhymed almost. So anyways, I would do it on YouTube Live, and it'd probably be at least an hour long, where I'm just going to be reading one of my books, and you guys can join me and read one of your books, so we can kind of do it together, because this year you can't really go out and read with other people due to, you know, Corona. Don't listen to other people that say, yes, you know, we can all go out and have a group of 30 and just read together. No, social distancing is key here. So let me know if you would like to do a live read along with me on YouTube. If the overall or majority vote is yes, I will poll later on YouTube posts and Twitter for a day and time during the reading rush to do a read along. So let me know what you think about that. And until then, I will see you guys in my next one. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and good luck with your reading rush and your reading TBRs. Bye.